Okay, in this video we're going to talk about percents and how to convert among percents, decimals, and fractions. So whenever you see a percent sign, it literally can be replaced with divided by 100. It means the same thing. Percent means per 100 or divided by 100. And dividing by 100 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/100th or multiplying by 0.01. So all these things mean the same thing. So for example, when you have 24%, you could think of it as 24 divided by 100 or 24 over 100. You could also think of it as 24 times 100th, right? This is helpful because from what we just talked about, what does multiplying by 0.01 do to a number? Remember what it does to the decimal point? It moves it 2 places to the left, doesn't it? So this is important. 24% is the same thing as 0.24. These two things mean the same thing. That says a lot. How do you convert from a percent to a decimal? All you have to do is move the decimal 2 places to the left and drop the percent sign. How do you convert from a decimal to a percent? You move the decimal 2 places to the right and add the percent sign. Let's look at another example. 1.2%, you could think of that as 1.2 times 1/100th or times 0.01. When you multiply by 0.01, you move the decimal place 2 to the left, so you get this. So what I just said was, when you change from a percent to a decimal, all you have to do is move the decimal 2 places to the left and drop the percent sign. If you're changing from a decimal to a percent, you move the decimal 2 places to the right and add the percent sign. Okay? So for example, let's say you wanted to change 16% to a decimal and a fully reduced fraction. Okay, well, as a decimal, all you have to do to go from a percent to a decimal is move the decimal 2 places to the left and drop the percent sign. Now to change it to a fraction, remember it also means 16 divided by 100. And then you would factor the top and bottom. You get a bunch of 2's in the top, 2 times 5 times 2 times 5 on the bottom. Cancel the 2's, you get 4 over 25. Okay, going the other way is a little harder. How do you change from a fraction to a decimal and percent? And the way we're going to do this is first we're going to go from a fraction to a decimal. We're going to do that by long division. And then once we do that, to go to a percent is easy. You just move the decimal place 2 to the left. Okay, so here we go. Long division, bottom out. 8 doesn't go into 3, but it goes into 30, right? It goes into 34 times. Or 3 times, I should say. 8 times 3 is 24, 2.4. When you subtract, you get 0.600. 8 doesn't go into 6, but it goes into 60 7 times. 8 times 7, where does the 7 go? It goes in the hundreds place. 8 times 7 is 56. When you subtract, you get 0.040. I think it goes in evenly. 8 goes into 40 exactly 5 times, right? So there's your answer. Now, it says to round to the nearest percent. So if you round to the nearest percent, isn't that the same thing as first rounding this to hundredths, right? If you round this to hundredths, you get 0.38. And then so how would you write that as a percent? It'd be 38%, right? There you go. Okay, why don't you try this one? See if you can express 17 over 16 as a decimal and percent. Okay, remember bottom out. 6 doesn't go into 1, but it goes into 17. It goes into 17 twice. Where does the 2 go? It goes above the 7. So you get a 12 here. When you subtract, you get 5.00. 6 doesn't go into 5, but it goes into 50. It goes into 50 8 times, right? Where does the 8 go? It goes above the 0. 6 times 8 is 48. Almost there. When you subtract, you get 20.200. 6 doesn't go into 2, but it goes into 20 twice, or 3 times, right? 18. 6 times 3 is 18. And I think it starts to repeat. You get 0.020, which is going to go in 3 times again. So we get this. So if we're going to round to the nearest percent, let's first round this to hundredths, which will be about 2.83. And then if you want to express that as a percentage, it would be 283%. That's how it works. Everything we've talked about can be summarized by this table here. So let's look at this. On your homework, you're asked to convert among these. If ever you want to go from a percent to a fraction, you always go through decimals. What you're going to do is you first change the percent to a decimal. Now that isn't hard to do. Remember, you move the decimal place 2 places to the left and drop the percent sign, and then you would change the decimal to a fraction. You get 12 over 100. Now that can be reduced. 12 over 100, if you factor this, you get 2 times 2 times 3 over 2 times 5 times 2 times 5. When you cancel the 2's, I believe you get 3 over 25. You can check me on that one. Now going the other way, let's say you want to go from a fraction to a percent. Again, you're going to use long division to go to a decimal, and then once you get the decimal, you just move the decimal place over. So here we go. Bottom out, the 12 is on the outside, 5 is on the inside. 12 doesn't go into 5, it goes into 50 though. What is it, 4 times? Yeah, 4 times. It goes over the 0, 4.8. When you subtract, you get 20 here. 12 goes into 20 once. Where does the 1 go? It goes in the hundreds place. So when you subtract, you get 0.080. 12 goes into 80, I believe, 7 times, right? No, 6 times, I should say. 6. That gives you 72. I think we can stop because we're only going to round it to hundredths. So round it to hundredths, it would be 0.42, and as a percentage, it would be 42%. Okay, we got a few minutes left. Why don't you try the last 3 on your own? See if you can do these last 3. We'll do this in just a minute. Okay, the first one, 4.2, as a percent, remember you move the decimal 2 to the right, so it becomes 420%. Now as a fraction, it would be 4 2/10, right? Which is the same as 42 over 10, which can be reduced, I believe. If you factor, you can factor and cancel a 2, I think you get 21 over 5. You can check that. 21 over 5. Alright, this next one, how would you express 13/8 as a decimal percent? You're first going to have to use long division on this. Bottom out. 8 doesn't go into 1, it goes into 13 though once, right? So you get an 8 here. When you subtract, you get a you get 5, I believe, right? 5.000. 8 doesn't go into 5, it goes into 50 though. It goes into 50 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Go in the tens place. So when you subtract, you get 0.200. 8 goes into 20 twice, and that twice goes in the hundredths place. I think you get a 40 left. Goes in exactly, doesn't it? 8 goes into 45 times. Now if you want to round that to hundredths, it would be 1.63, wouldn't it? And then as a percent, it would be 163%. Now the last one, how would we do this? Well, you convert from a percent to a decimal by moving it over 2 to the left. Isn't it 0.012, right? 2 places? Yeah. How would that be as a fraction? It would be 12 over 1,000, which can be reduced, of course. The way you reduce 12 over 1,000, you'd write the numerator as 2 times 2 times 3. 1,000 is 10 times 10 times 10, which is 2 times 5 times 2 times 5 times 2 times 5. I believe we can cancel 2 of these 2's. So what do you have left? A 3 on the top, and it's going to be 25 times 10. What's that? 250? That's what I get. Did you get that? So it equals 250. 3 over 250. Alright, we gotta go. Bye-bye.